Hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna follow our marathon. Then we've been talking about all the type of diseases that people tend to suffer in their day-to-day life. That obviously we have a paper to try to fight them because the bees is what make us be beasts and so make us have bad decisions, which obviously is not something that we seek for. We tend always to make the best decisions for us, for the other ones, and for that, so we need to don't have the basis towards informations that we got, and as well the process of dealing with that informations that some bees as well they work on this in these phases of the process between absorbing, processing, taking a decision, and even some business tends to happen when we make the reflections about our life and our decisions. We can as well suffer with the bees that we overestimate how good we did the decision, how like we make overestimation of how good was our decision making just based in results and not just in the methods. So we can suffer with bees basically in all our stages when we're talking about making decisions. But now today we're gonna be our bees that we're gonna evolve is gonna be the framing effect. And what is the framing effect? Is the cognitive bias where people make decisions based in how information is presented rather than on the fact themselves. So if I'm gonna say this type of bias where it happens more, you just imagine then you're trying to solve a problem, and imagine then you start having more care about your diet. So you're probably gonna look for a good type of meats, good type of pasta, everything that you can eat. You're gonna now take more care if it's in reality healthy or just you have availability and it's much easier to get. But sometimes so it's difficult because we have so much information, we have so much options to eat that it's difficult to understand what are the best ones or not. And instead of just focusing in the fundamental principles of, well, what science seems to say that I really need to survive in having the optimal life. So probably not eating too much fat, but eating the enough one, then obviously my body as well needs fat or grasses. They are something that you need. It's something that you should not avoid. But so now that I've imagined that I've been studying this type of learnings that science seems to say that it's important so to get and having in pound when so I'm gonna apply and build my diet. Imagine then even with all that knowledge I just need to still go for the market. And the reality is market people produces their whole marketing strategies and they try to communicate with you a certain way, then so can influence you is you being the most logical reasoning possible. Imagine a product that is labeled as 90% fat free. But you see this is really important. The way that they can put the information in a certain way, not saying something that's false, but just putting the information in a certain way makes you perceive the same type of product in different ways depending of the way they are presented. A product labeled 90% fat free seems healthier than one labeled 10% fat, even though they're identical. Buy one, get one free sounds better than 50% off when you buy two, even if the discount is the same. So see that the way that same type of thing, or in talking, for example, in probability, a meat is made just 90% of meat, pure meat, and 10% of fat. But depending the way that they are presented as 90% meat or 10% as fat, your perception about this is different. Other example, a doctor presents a treatment option in two ways. A more called positive frame equals say this surgery has a 90% survival rate. If it presents to you as a negative frame, this surgery has 10% mortality rate. Imagine that the two ones you don't know, you kind of so have tried to open, see a lot of doctors, and one says the positive frame surgery has 90% survival rate, the other one says that surgery has 10% mortality rate. What's going to be your tendency to go to do the surgery, even knowing, imagine that they have like it's the same surgery, scientifically talking, it's the same way. You're going to have a tendency to look for the one that says 90% survival rate, even if in reality both are doing and saying the same, the effectiveness is the same. So people are most likely to choose the surgery when they hear the 90% survival rate, even though both statements say the same thing. So this is thing that you have to get in count. Other examples, you can look for legal and political. Sometimes what happens, policies frames as protecting national security, but sometimes what can happen, they present you some type of measure action that they want to do as protecting national security, but that action as well can be called as violating privacy, because some of these actions that protecting national security, they could and they are in violating the privacy, but just because they frame as with a good type of side, a good type of intention that they have, the reality is that even saying that they're not avoiding violating privacy. So the difference that makes sometimes the perception of a same measure is the way that is presented to us. That's why marketing is something that's really important. Sometimes probably Nike, in comparison with other type of brand shoe, the quality, the fundamental principles of why you buy a shoe. It's because you want to get durability. It's imagine that you're someone that likes to run. You will like so to get a shoe that makes you so run a good amount of time, that doesn't get spoiled. But in reality, it is that Nike has adopted marketing, a way to kind of present to you the informations about the shoe as someone that gives you fame, as someone that makes you be in a luxury. You kind of build this image that you're gonna so have more these type of things that you kind of make have a connotation to present as something that's good, having luxury, having using the same type of shoes that other famous people, sports guys, they try to use, even if it's you look for the fundamental principle that they are the same. While other one tries to say that, other one just promotes how good is the material. The reality is that you have a tendency to look for the other ones because even both technically the quality of the shoe, how they're made, the durability, how comfortable you feel is the same, just because one gives more the perception of luxury, of other people's have used the shoe, and the other one even being the same shoe. And in reality, it's more just a psychological trick, because it doesn't mean just because you use a Nike that you're going to be more closer to a Michael Jordan, to a LeBron James. Not going to happen. But in your mind, the way that the presentation was framed has certain type of sense. And so sometimes if people frame the good type of things, that their options that they want to sell, obviously is something that by what we are seeing, it increases the probability of people doing the action in comparison with other alternative that's not so much different, but the information, the way that they were taught has been different. It's what makes a real difference. And so sometimes why we so should try to fight it. It's something that we should take care, because what I've seen is that doesn't make sense we taking decisions other than just doing the opposite, because in reality they're the same. I'm just being kind of manipulated by the discourse, the way that the people talk about. So when we're more susceptible, so we start working in a solution by understanding when we're more susceptible. So normally under stress or time pressure, reality is quick decisions rely more on emotional reactions to framing, because what are the problems of bees? Bees are like shortcuts that our brain tends to use when it wants to take a decision. Because because we don't rationalize, because if we're bees, what's the opposite of bees? Is rationalizing. And when you're bees is normally when you don't think, and when you don't think, normally when you take quick decisions. So instead of and prior and then that we're talking about decisions, prior so to do the important decisions, you have to understand that you not have to avoid at all costs sometimes to be ruled by this type of heuristics. What you have to understand is you try to not be based in the decisions that really matters, applying the Pareto principle that probably just 20% of the decisions that you do is so the ones that you have to adopt a picture to have in count if you're using so this type of heuristics that can be something that's bad to to the quality of your decision making. And sometimes so to make easy what you can do, and that's something that I do, that is applying some type of methodology that whatever I'm going to do important decision, I have already a list that helps me questions that helps me to see if I'm falling to some bees of humans or not. If you want, I'm gonna, so after this end of this series, I'm gonna put this list that as well can help you and you can use. It's quick, and so in important decisions you review so the decision that you're about to make and see if you're falling in some of the bees that affects us as a humans. Now, other type of susceptible that we can do is when we lack expertise, reality. We tend to trust so something is worked rather than analyzing the facts, the reality, because it's more a problem. The framing is about how people and things communicate to us. So when I'm just get what people communicate to us and I not give so time to explore to see in reality exists different between a choice and another one, then if I do it, if I explore, I'm so less susceptible to fall in this type of bees. And so it's easy to understand that normally is when you lack expertise, you don't want to spend time thinking, is normally so when any type of bees is where so you're gonna be more prone to fall in the problems that come. So how to overcome? Reframe the information. Ask yourself, how would I feel if these were phrased differently? Is the best type of answer that you can give to fight the framing effect is how I would feel if these were phrased differently. So look for chocolate. What they say, chocolate is something that scientifically has been proved that increases happiness. So what seems that could make me who I already like the taste of chocolate, and people are saying that's something that scientists seems to say, so the brand is saying that, so I'm more prone to act. So how I'm gonna fight? The best type of uh, thing that you can do is always doing this ask is this type of question when so you face the probability of suffer with this effect is how will I feel if this were phrased differently. So in that case of chocolate, if probably so what this type of question wants me is probably I should look for other type of things that chocolate has, and probably people will not promote because are not that good. So imagine chocolate, imagine that the one is having caffeine as in type of thing that probably I can be allergic, and I don't know. Probably they should say that a specific component of this chocolate is people tend to have allergy in 20% of population, but they're not saying. They're saying just one of the parts. They're not saying the other one. So this is the best way to fight the framing effect. Look at the facts, not the wording. It's basically like the best way as well to fight it. Consider the opposite perspective. So if people that I'm trying to sell, obviously they want to sell to me, and so they will say good things. So what will be the opposite? People that they will not so like to get these products to get sold. So probably will be the concurrency. Concurrency probably has been make statements that probably has explored bad things about the product that I could try to explore to see so if the brand is that good as much as it talks, or in reality has some type of bad things as well. So could be another way to fight this problem. So I expect this video has helped you, and see you in the next one.